Okay, in this video, we're gonna look at YG Entertainment and we're gonna see what's going on with them. I wanna see, I've heard whispers that they might be bankrupt or having financial issues or something like that. BLACKPINK has kind of been acting a little bit odd. So we're just gonna see what's going on with YG as a whole. With that being said, everything I say is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only. Yeah, with peace and love. And let's go! Okay, YG as a whole. This is Illusion, kind of like head in the clouds almost, but it's also like trying to be strategic, but also being very foggy. Almost like you're trying to make choices and decisions, but you don't have all the information and you're very foggy about it. This is like rising, especially from a point, like a low point, and also like almost like we've rebuilt our team again, because I get kind of the impression that they weren't able to like trust people for a while, and now it's coming back of like, okay, we have a stable, I don't know, set of producers and no one's gonna leak information, and we have a good roster of artists. It's almost like we're stabilizing again after a period of like difficulty. 10 of Pentacles, which is legacy, looking back into like money especially as well, almost sort of like what actions are we gonna do today that are gonna guarantee that we'll have money later on. They're very much in like a planning phase and trying to be strategic about what they do and where they're going. It's sort of like so YG doesn't like dissolve as a company, and so that they can also compete with all the other major ones like HYBE and all of HYBE's subsidiaries and Kakao and SM and etc. JYP as well. This is control and money, type money. The Magician is being able to manifest, and the Temperance card is a lack of balance. Sometimes being off path or like not having like a calling or like just an inner knowing of something. But that's like control and money. Oh, I think money is not in abundance in the way you might see a HYBE group kind of. Money seems tight, but it doesn't seem like limited, if that makes sense. The thing is, when you go bankrupt, and I really don't know if it's the same in Korea, but in America, that's not always like a bad move. Sometimes you go bankrupt, like, people are going to be mad at this example, but it's the only one I can think of, where I remember right before Kanye West became a billionaire with Adidas. He was partners with Adidas, right? I'm not sure. He went bankrupt, and people were like, oh, like, fuck this guy. And then he immediately became a billionaire because it's just like a business strategy. And then he lost it all again, you know, anti-Semitism. But like, this might be what YG is up to, where it's like, if there are whispers that they're bankrupt, if there are whispers that they're running out of money, that's not wrong, but it seems strategic. Almost like they're going to like pivot or do some fancy footwork around that or something. Like there are clever people on YG's team. There's a lot of accountants. YG, every K-pop company, low-key kind of has like an archetype to them, and YG is very like domination, very capitalist, very like, we're gonna do this at all costs. I think, surprisingly, are a company that treats their artists better. I've seen it every time I've read for like K-pop groups. Sort of like there's less like dehumanizing tactics compared to other K-pop companies, but it's almost like there is like a really harsh dominance, and sort of like they'll trim the fat wherever. Sort of like, this isn't working, get rid of it. They're very strategic though, and I do feel like they do care about artistry. They're just very niche in their music. At any rate, it seems like money is tight, but it's not found, if that makes sense. The Temperance though, I've been curious about the Temperance, because this is being able to manifest, and it's giving very strong strategy. Sometimes the Temperance is more like a spiritual thing of like, this isn't what you should be doing, but you can do it anyway. The King of Wands in the reverse position, we got that. I just did a reading about Park Bom, and we got that. I think it was in the upright though. I actually don't think those are the same thing. Never mind. Anyway, King of Wands in the reverse position is like creative masculine energy that's being misdirected in some way. Sometimes it can read kind of like anger. Sometimes it can be somebody who is trying to be creative, but it keeps flopping or stuff's not working out. The Sun in the reverse position, oh, I get that now. YG doesn't love how their groups have been performing. More so, though, it's like how it's resonating with the general public. And also maybe even fans, almost like they're not getting hits. But it's interesting because it's not 100% related to money or like sales. It's almost like their songs aren't going viral or people aren't really like bopping along to it. They're not getting mega hits. It's almost like there's a lack of resonance with the general public, and they're upset about that. Also kind of like YG, because the sun is like illumination. In the reverse position, it's almost like YG is like more so in the shadows, or is taking a back seat, especially like in terms of like how prolific they are to the general population. The Knight of Swords is like coming to correct that. Like this is like rushing to help. Not always. The Knight of Wands is helpful, but sometimes it's like it's still young energy, comparatively speaking to like a king. So sometimes they like do things that they shouldn't be doing. There's something about that where it's sort of like almost like they're trying to do stuff, but this is illusion, and this is like kind of being a little bit off path or lacking balance. So it's sort of like they're trying things and they are being strategic. I think they will be successful in the long run, but it's sort of like they're gonna make mistakes along the way that are kind of like, as an outsider, you're like, that's a rookie mistake. Gucci gang, like, what are we doing? Boundaries, apprehensions, they're distrustful. Whoever, like, the other weird thing too is I see YG has a very tight circle, very tight inner circle. So they don't have as big of like sprawling teams. I think every group has like managers and like hairstylists and stuff like that. That's very different from people who make the decisions for YG groups. So it's like they have like a central brain or a central hub, if that makes sense, of people that kind of make choices for all the groups. And all the groups have managers and their own teams, but it's very like all these groups work for just YG. It's not like, you know, Hive where there's Source Music and what used to be Adore and whoever, B-Lift, whatever. The World in the reverse position is like a lack of completion, wanting something else, and the Empress. Oh, this, I'm so annoying. I always bring up BLACKPINK. This could be BLACKPINK, but it's sort of like they are lacking a strong female group that is a good contender for, like they have BABYMONSTER, and BABYMONSTER was their push to go into the 5th generation, and BABYMONSTER was sort of supposed to be the market for like hip-hop and rap and that sort of a sound, and that's not really where the 5th generation's audience is most interested in. They have a very dedicated fan base, but they don't hit the, larger like cultural zeitgeist, just in terms of like pushing out into like broader audiences. So I think YG is looking at like feminine groups specifically because it seems like girl groups tend to be a safer option at the very least. Boy groups either very much hit or very much don't hit. It's hard to be middle of the road with boy groups. Girl groups are a safe option and they're easier to build off of for some reason. Almost like YG is looking for like, how can we get a girl group that hits? I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with a girl group soon. I don't know why. I don't know why I have that impression. I don't know if there's whispers about it, but I see it being another 4-member group for some reason. Almost like they're gonna try to do like a legacy thing of like 21 and there was BLACKPINK and now it's whatever this new group is. And I don't know why, like, because they also have Meow. That's under the Black label, but the Black label is basically YG, for real. So I don't know. I feel like they're coming out with a new group though. I'm not sure. Any whoozy doozy. This is looking at their feminine artists, I will say, and there's like almost like a disappointment, but also like this is what we need. This is our key, so to speak. Moving away, strength, feeling disempowered, walking away from something. Oh, needing to but not being able to. What's that mean? Because this is moving away from something more so intellectual. Sometimes it's like physical, but not really. And this is like walking away from something emotional. And the strength is like in the reverse is disempowerment or like struggling with something, fighting with something, but it's unproductive. It won't get you anywhere. I guess just ask shit. Ace of Swords. Oh. There's somebody who's very old in the company or has been around in the company a very long time. It might be YG himself. He's still like there, right? I don't know. I'm not sure if it's him, but there's somebody who's been with the company a very long time and has a lot of power and is very like old. Maybe an energy. It's also like a power and respect thing. And some people in the company really want to branch out into different styles of music because YG really holds steady and fast to more hip-hop. There are people that are trying to push them into like, okay, like let's explore other things. Let's try to transform more into a Hive where Hive does lots of stuff. And this person is very steadfast, like, no, this is our market and we hold on to it. This is where our power is. I don't know if that's true. I think times have changed, and it's not that hip-hop is not... it's an oversaturated market, so if you are hip-hop, you have to be excellent at it, I think is what's... And that's true in Western circles as well, which is why most K-pop groups that do hip-hop, I don't think are going to do well in the West, primarily because even, like, Western artists really want the cream of the crop when it comes to rap and hip-hop. You have to be elite in what you're doing. So it's almost like there's somebody that's very much holding on to it, and, like, other people are like, we can't move on because this person. I don't know. It doesn't seem like mad though. It's more just like, I guess, like, he knows what's best. He like created this. I'm not sure if it's YG though. I can't tell because it seems like maybe, but maybe not. Lots of blue. Okay. Queen of Wands. Again, it's feminine energy. Speaking very directly. I don't feel like YG has a lot of women that are in positions of power though in their company. I think it's very male dominated. What's surprising? K-pop. Page of Swords is facing the Queen of Wands. Swords. And then the, Six of Wands is Triumph. Moving on. I see them coming out with a group soon. I don't know why. But, I mean, didn't ALLDAY Project just come out? Oh, this might have to do with ALLDAY Project. They, like, debuted not long ago, didn't they? So that might be, this might be what I'm thinking about. Because I really don't know a lot about ALLDAY Project. Especially because the mixed gender, and this is, pages can be any gender. But I don't see them being bankrupt. If they go bankrupt, it's not from like, oops, we're bad at money. It's like, this is strategic. I kind of want to know if YG is up to anything, like, shady. Because this just seems like strategy. They're just like, what are we doing next? What's going on next? They don't seem, like, super chaotic. Is there something going on at YG? Heartbreak? Girl. What the hell? What the helly? Queen of Wands. That might be BLACKPINK, low-key. Because this is heartbreak. Be betrayal. There's another thing. The Queen of Wands in the reverse position is like passionate, fiery, driven, can be very like pop star card, and the reverse position is like kind of like flop. But don't think flop in terms of performance. Literally like a fish flopping around. Think more like that, where it's just like droopy. It's just sort of like a sunflower there and it's dying. That's what it's giving. And this is moving on. Basically, it can be like getting more energy, like planning more. That might have to do with BLACKPINK moving on, and YG's like, that's gonna be a big financial hit. That maybe is what people are whispering about. I've seen for a while BLACKPINK. I mean, if you watch them on stage, even they're really not interested in this. Maybe it's because they didn't want to go on tour, but they still want to be a part of YG. I'm not sure, but they all left YG to do their own individual companies. And that would be a massive financial hit for YG if BLACKPINK went away. I really see them wanting to make a new BLACKPINK, quote unquote. Almost like how they made a new 21. And it was different enough so people don't strongly associate 21 and BLACKPINK together. They want something like that. But almost like there's going to be like a flip or a twist on it. I don't know why I'm locked in on this, because that seems like not a bad business move, but a weird one. One that would garner a lot of criticism, but money is money. But there's disappointment. It doesn't feel emotional. It's just sort of like, that's a loss. That's unfortunate. We did so much for you. That's what it's giving. I wouldn't say YG is organized, but I would say they have a strategy and they're developing it and they're making it stronger day by day. I think they do whatever they need to do to get by. Like, that's what it is. The Lovers is a separation, the Emperor is a loss of power, and this is like strategy. They're going to come out with a new group. I feel so confident on this, and it seems like it's going to be a girl group. Maybe it's a boy group. It seems like a small group, all things considered. I think they've scrapped several groups. There's always like whispers and stuff of like they're going to have a new group. They keep scrapping them for some reason. Or they're like passing them off to somebody else to do. I want to ask briefly on each group. So I'm going to ask about Baby Mama, BABYMONSTER, and I'm going to ask what YG thinks about BABYMONSTER, BLACKPINK, Treasure, ALLDAY Project, Meow, even though it's Black Label. Are there any other YG groups? We'll just go through them. So I'm going to pull quickly and briefly on each group and how YG thinks about them. Baby Mama. Well, let's ask about BABYMONSTER. I like BABYMONSTER. I think they're sweet. Hermit. Kind of like lost and isolated, and I guess that makes sense. BABYMONSTER kind of seems like a separate thing, kind of on their own, like they're their own island. What else though? Lost. Oh, ooh, these cards are somewhat similar. They don't feel like BABYMONSTER is like as interesting or avant-garde in comparison to their peers. So it's not dislike. I don't want people to read into that. I mean, if you're a BABYMONSTER fan, obviously it's not ideal. It's not like they're going to cut BABYMONSTER off. It's not like they don't think the girls are worth investing in. But it's almost like we don't know how to make them hit. We don't know how to make lightning strike. We don't know how to make them, you know? They have so much competition, not just from their own generation, but from all the previous generations. And so it's sort of like, how do we don't know 100% what to do with BABYMONSTER, and what we thought was going to happen wasn't going to happen. So there's a lot of like reworking. So I don't know a lot about Baby Monster. I don't like or dislike them. I almost never see them though. Like whenever I'm scrolling through like K-pop, whatever, they just don't come up a lot. Okay, YG's impression of Blackpink, I guess we'll ask. What do they think of Blackpink? Being released, like the ties falling off you. They think it's a bad choice. They're like, this is a bad idea for you guys to leave us, but it's kind of given like a manipulative a little bit. And the King of Cups. The King of Cups in the reverse is like an emotional masculine energy that's like volatile. So it's like, I think there is wisdom in Blackpink maybe moving on, especially if they just personally don't like it. But for YG, it's like, I think they sometimes guilt trip the members of like, we did so much for you. Because that's always what I hear as like a whisper whenever I think about that. But it's sort of like breaking free. Blackpink is breaking free. They can now kind of have more leeway and agency. YG owns the IP that is Blackpink. And it's sort of like, look at all this money you're losing out on. You love money, right? What do you mean, who doesn't? They have kind of come to like a resignation about the girly bops are just going to do what they're going to do. And as they grow and age, they're going to have more freedom and agency. Who should we ask about next? Treasure? Is Treasure still a thing? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. If Treasure's a thing, let's ask. And I guess if they're not, we'll have more information on why they're not. What's going on with the Treasure boys? Like Truth, kind of. It's not a great card to get. Justice, I hate that. Struggle. Oh, something's going on with Treasure. Because this is like sometimes sly and slickness. In the reverse, though, would be like becoming more honest or trying to do right after something that you've done that's wrong. But this is a lack of justice and this is struggle. I don't know anything about Treasure, but if they don't come back a lot, or if they've been meaning to come back for a while and they haven't coming back, or if they have a lot of like private, you can just tell sometimes with like groups and you're like, there's a lot going on, isn't there? It's almost like YG feels like they have wronged Treasure and they're still not sure how to make it right, but it's also like this is like a heavy cost for us because it all comes down to money at the end. So it's sort of like we don't want to like just mess up these young men's life. We promised them a lot, we didn't quite deliver on our end. There's something about that. YG feels bad, but it's also like business is business, but we're going to struggle along. So like either so we can honor our contract, there's something about that, I don't know, but it's almost like YG has like a regret for how they managed Treasure. But like the justice has still not been served around that, but they're going to like work on it. This is carrying on. This is still doing the work. That's what it's giving. Who else is in there? Meow. Meow. I'ma shake some. Meow. Love. How does YG think about? I know they're Black Label, but girl, it's the same thing. How do they think about Meow? Almost like giving too much. We're giving too much to them. We're paying too much attention. I don't know. It's Ace of Wands. That's like creativity, manifestation, creating something, kind of. Death, rebirth. Yeah. I don't understand this. Maybe because they are two separate companies, but there's something about YG being like, you spend too much on Meow. Or you give Meow too much. I don't know if that's true or not, because I also don't really follow Meow, and I feel like they have the same thing that Baby Monster, I keep saying Baby Mama. They have the same thing that Baby Monster struggles with, where it's like, they haven't made the biggest splash, they're not like, you know, just all over the place, and everybody knows what they're up to. And it's almost like YG's like, you give too much to them, you pay too much attention to them. And sort of like, there's creativity there, and this is like a death and a rebirth. But the Page of Pentacles, especially with the Six of Pentacles in the reverse, has to do with like finances and money. Death is like transformation almost. Oh, I feel like YG is like, they're too similar to one another. Whatever, like ALLDAY Project, Baby Monster, and Meow have such a similar sound, a very Teddy specialness to them, where it's like Meow, in order for Meow to survive, maybe we should do a reading on Meow. In order for Meow to survive, they're going to have to be different in some way. Maybe different from Baby Monster and ALLDAY Project, or maybe just different in general, because it seems like between all of them, Meow was the one that could like drop off the furthest. For one reason or another. It also could be a lack of money, but I don't think YG would care about that, you know. It is a subsidiary, but it's also like you're giving too much resource to them for some reason. Big Bang. Bang, bang, bang. Money. opulence, luxury. Knight of Cups, emotional progress. Ace of Cups, emotional satisfaction, just abundance in general, overflowing in general. Big Bang's not, I think the IP still belongs to YG, but the members all dispersed, right? Like, they're not really like a thing. I think YG feels satisfied with the legacy that Big Bang has. They would be happy if all the members came back together. I think, wasn't there one member though that was kind of like hella cancelled? I'm not sure. Anyway, but YG would love if they came back, but YG likes what Big Bang did, and they like the legacy of Big Bang. They're very like, yeah, this was good. This was good. Especially because, you know, they're like a second generation group or something like that. YG looks at Big Bang, specifically what they did in their career, with fondness. And then 21. 21, can you do something for me? Lack of planning, and like the Two of Wands is like a lack of planning, things falling out. What's the opposite when something follows through? When something doesn't follow through, when something doesn't work out, especially when it comes to plans. Like my plans fell through is what I'm trying to say. Judgment, we got this in the Park Bomb reading. Oh my god, sorry, tweaking. If you watch that though, that was like the first card we pulled. Judgment is like awakening, coming to a realization about something, and this is the Queen of Pentacles, which might be Park Bomb. This is like our plans fell through. I don't know. Wasn't 21 supposed to have a comeback? I don't know if they did or not. Whatever they planned didn't go according to plan. I think it was supposed to be bigger, or maybe more advertising, or maybe they were supposed to do more than they did. Maybe that's still being planned, but I feel like that was supposed to have happened already. There's something about something falling apart. And I think it's because, Park Bomb maybe, but I think all of the members in one way or another are like, I don't know if we want to do business with you guys. YG is like, very like, frustrated. I think they understand the members' perspectives. I don't think they're just like so blind to that, but it's sort of like, things just didn't work out. We can still get money from 21, but like, things just didn't work out. So, vibe, peace, love, and have a good day.